Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Dr. Barry Pierre, your favorite board-certified internist, founder of drbarrypierre.com, as well as the CEO of Pierre Medical Consulting, helping you empower yourself for better health with the #1 podcast for patient advocacy, education, and affirmation, guys. This is episode 138, and most importantly, this is the first episode of season 4, where we plan to bring you a lot more amazing guests. And I want to first off say thank you, right, to all of those who have been rocking with us all the way from season 1, when we didn't even call it season 1 because we weren't even sure y'all were going to keep listening to it, to all the way to season 3, where you guys did such an amazing job checking in week after week and letting us know, letting our guests know that the phenomenal job that they've been doing. So I want to just thank you guys, right? Again, I don't think we should, I don't think we can start off this podcast or even this season without letting you guys know that we would not be doing this without you guys, because again, it's the most important thing. Again, I appreciate the support. I appreciate the likes. I appreciate the shares. I appreciate the comments. And most importantly, the subscriptions, right? Keep those subscription numbers up. So before we start with season 4, right, I wanted to kind of give a quick little rundown, of course, of what to expect. But again, I don't think we can look forward without looking back, right? So I want to first of all, I want to thank all of my amazing guests from season 3. And I tell you, we had a lot of amazing guests, from Dr. Joy for Dairy Black Girls, Dr. Lauren Powell, right, the culinary doctor. We had Dr. Candrice, Dr. Candice, Dr. Teresa, Dr. Shanika. Of course, we had my wife, Maria Davis Pierre. Just amazing. Dr. Mercier, Dr. Brad, with Dr. Nina. There was so many people who did such an amazing job bringing to light the Lunch and Learn community that, I just want to first I would say thank you guys for doing exactly what we wanted you to do, right, which is bring your A game, right, and then just kind of let people know how amazing you are, right, because that's really the goal, right. My goal is really to kind of stand there, step back, and allow the people who do such amazing things to do amazing things, right? And they really knocked it out the park, and we want to thank them for that. And moving forward, especially for season 4, Dr. Sylvia Bolia, she's another one. I think she was on there a couple of times during season 3, right? Because she's amazing, obesity doctor, America's obesity doctor, right? So want to thank all you guys for such an amazing support system that you brought to the Lunch and Learn community, right? A lot of you guys brought your listeners over to our community, and some of those listeners stayed on, and they were happy to join the Lunch and Learn community. We're happy to have you guys, right? So going on into season 4, right? What should we expect for season 4? Well, first and foremost, right, the fact that you're watching this video. It's been something that I've been talking about for the past couple seasons, and I wanted to make sure we got the process correct before kind of jumping into video, because obviously it is a bigger venture as far as when you want to start recording video, and how big deal you want to make it, right? Again, I'll tell you right now, I'm not a graphics person, I'm not a video, and I'm not that whatsoever, right? So I didn't want anything that was going to really add more additional work to what we were doing here with the podcast, right? I want to continue bringing you amazing content, continue educating you guys, continue helping you empower yourself for better health, right? And I didn't want the fact that us going to video, cause delays or cause it so that you can't get the content you want, right? So for the most part, especially for season 4, we will be bringing you video content with the episodes that we can, right? Now, again, there may be some episodes where there's no video, right? And if there's no video, I'll make sure to show in different ways some visual aspects of what we're doing, right? So you don't have to worry about what happens if there's no video for the review, right? Especially for my Lunch and Learn community listeners who love watching the video, who are on YouTube all day anyways, and they would love to just watch us kind of play around, have a great conversation. And of course, when you go into video, right, you kind of have to prep your guests that you're going into video as well too, right? And video is just one of those things that I think if you allow it to be a huge thing, right? Like if you allow it to be a huge production, it can be a huge production, right? But if you just kind of turn the camera on and you just say go, right? Like it could be something that I think it would be amazingly worthwhile. So I hope you guys get an amazing experience from it. We will be posting the whole episode, the ones we do record, right? And I'll always let you guys know, like, hey, we got the full episodes already recorded on YouTube. Will be on my page, right? So if you want, go to drbarrypierre.com/YouTube. It'll take you right to my YouTube page where you can see all of the prior Lunch and Learn episodes, as well as the Empower Yourself for Better Health episodes as well, right? So everything video-wise I plan on doing will be on my YouTube page, right? So you can always check that out. And again, like I said, if you're one of my Lunch and Learn listeners who love the podcast, we always post the episode clips in a video fashion right on there as well too. So you can press play, especially if you got, I think it was like YouTube, like Red or whatever that YouTube is, where you can just kind of press play on the video and just kind of walk away from it, right? So you can definitely do that for that standpoint there. And I think, let me get my notes together. So we talked about video component, definitely. We talked about more guests, because of course we're going to continue to bring amazing guests for you guys to learn and build off of. So that's definitely going to happen. And most importantly, right now in season 4, and this is something that I've always wanted to do, right? Because of course, as a health professional, as a physician, I have to bring the big topics when the big topics need to be talked about, right? But a lot of times things happen throughout the week that I would love to kind of say, hey, what about this, right? What about this topic here? What about this article that I just read that I know would be amazing for you guys to know? But guess what? I am now going to be doing Friday mini episodes, right? These aren't going to be recorded on video, but they will be available on the podcast. And it'll essentially be kind of almost like a weekly wrap up per se of some of the most important health related topics that I've read about, watched, or seen throughout the week, right? So not only will you be getting the podcast episodes, which was going to, guess what? We used to record Wednesdays correctly. So we used to record on Wednesdays, used to have a podcast episodes available on Wednesdays. We are now moving it to Mondays. So you're going to be getting a Monday episode. That's going to be our main episode that you'll get every single week. But you'll also be getting Friday mini episodes, which are essentially just me turning on the mic or turning on my phone and saying, hey, this is the stuff that's going on in health related news, right? Depending on when you're watching this video, right? Like, for example, I would be talking about the coronavirus, right? Like I would be talking about a virus that is causing quarantine. I saw on, I think it was like CNN that, there's people on a cruise ship that literally have to stay on a cruise ship for like 3 weeks, quarantine in their room. Like it's not even like they're quarantined, but they can move about on the ship. They're quarantined in their room because of this virus, right? And I want to talk, and of course it's two sides, right? Again, like I said, if I was doing an episode, I would kind of go in and talk about the two sides of why I think it's kind of funny, especially here in the United States, that we're going very crazy over this disease, especially when we have a viral disease that is going to kill hundreds of thousands of people, and it does it every single year, and it's only increasing, but people don't seem to be that concerned about it. Again, I would talk about that, but this is not that type of episode, right? So get ready for Friday weekly wrap-ups to occur. We talked about the videos, and we talked about more guests. So what is this guest, right? So I titled this episode, Empower Yourself for Better Health. Those of you have heard the intro, you've heard me say it over and over and over again. If you've seen the shirts, right? If you're able to catch my wristband here, I talk about Empower Yourself for Better Health, right? Now, it is not only my trademark motto, right? And for those who don't know, it is my trademark motto, but it's really a lifestyle that I want to kind of interject into my Lunch and Learn community, right? And again, I want you guys to kind of think about the words, empower yourself for better health. And it's one of those things when I first started outside of medicine, when I got out of medicine and got out of residency, and I was, taking care of patients, and I started realizing that like I was only one person trying to take care of one person in my office, and I knew that wasn't good enough, right? And I knew that I had to do more if I really wanted to help reach the masses, right? So when I got out, I said I need to do something that's going to help touch the people. Now again, it had always been a thought in the back of my mind, right? Like I needed to do more, reach out more, educate more. But I could tell you what happened, right? And I could tell you something and it happened when I was a medical student that really, spurred my interest and, really energized me to kind of, be the person that I am today, kind of sitting in front of you. I was a first-year medical student. I had just finished first year medical school right now. It was a tough year, but it was, I did very well from it. And I was excited. I was excited for the summer break because it had been my first break that I had really since I was an undergrad. Because I remember even as an undergrad, I was always taking classes. So I never really had a free summer. So it was going to be my free summer to just kind of do me and kind of enjoy the fact that I was a medical student, right? So a goal that I've always wanted to do. Unfortunately, I got a phone call, and it was my cousin. It was my cousin who let me know that my father had passed away. And it was one of the toughest phone calls that I've ever had to take, right? Like, it was one of the toughest moments of my life, because when, of course, in the movies, you see the movies where things get silent, you don't know what's happening, right? That's exactly what occurred. All I know is my father had passed away. Like, that was the phone call I got. And if I had to rewind like maybe like a month or so, I'll say a couple weeks, but a couple weeks to a month earlier, I remember because I went to school at Nova Southeastern, and where my family stayed was probably like 30 minutes away, right? So I went to go visit my dad, and I go to find, I don't see, he's not here. I'm like, oh, where's my dad at? Apparently he's in the hospital. Now, I'm shocked or surprised, right? One, because my dad's in a hospital. And no one told me my dad's in a hospital. How long is my dad in? So I'm asking all of these questions. And of course, I was a medical student. I was studying, and they didn't want to bother me. They didn't want me to worry. But of course, now as a son, I'm super worried, right? Got a chance to see my dad. He had some issues kind of dealing with blood pressure that he never told me he had blood pressure. Again, I was a pre-med student. I was a medical student, and my father never actually told me like, hey, I got these like medical related issues, right? And apparently he wasn't taking his medications like he was supposed to. He didn't realize he needed to take them every day. So because of course, and I've talked about this before, especially with blood pressure. It's one of those silent diseases, right? So if you don't feel nothing, you don't think anything's wrong. So here it goes. He wasn't taking his medications, and he was suffering from complications from not taking his medications because of blood pressure. And then, fast forward 2 to 3 weeks later, he dies in his sleep, right? Likely from a cardiac event, and now that I think about it now, of course, likely from a cardiac event. And I just remember that long ride to my dad's house, right? And again, this is 30 minutes. I remember like almost being in a silent fog going, right? And it was crazy because I didn't turn on the radio. I called the people I needed to call, but like, it was just like this, like, I was just kind of replaying that message in the back of my head. My dad's dead. My dad's dead. My dad's dead. And once I get there, right, like immediately, because that's what typically happens, right, especially in medicine, right, when you're, kind of directing the ship, right, immediately, I kind of have to take this leadership role, because now that my father is dead, I am the senior male figure in the household, right, especially the immediate family, right. I had a little brother, a little sister, but I am the senior elder, right, and automatically, like, the level of responsibility is kind of thrust upon me, because I gotta make things move, as quickly as it can, right? Like, I gotta, like, now we're talking about funeral arrangements, we're talking about life insurance, we're talking about all these things here, that again, I went from thinking I was gonna have a chill summer to that. And that's when I realized that if I am going to, save someone else's father, save someone else's mother, save someone else's grandma, sister, brother, if I'm gonna do that, I have to step out of my zone and let people know, like, hey, you need to empower yourself for better health, right? You need to make sure health is your priority, and I am going to help you do it, right? Like, because I realized right then and there, and again, it may have been like, pompous of me, right? But I thought, you know what? If I don't do this, no one else will. So I set out, right? I started blogging. I started writing blog. I started becoming very, deliberate with kind of educating on the health tip. And then, as I moved forward and as I moved along, here I go as a medical resident, and I'm still blogging. I'm doing videos every now and then. I'm getting introduced to this kind of social media very early from that standpoint there, and realized that, like, you know what, I need some help. And I was attending, and I was taking care of patients, and I wasn't happy, but I knew what the goal was, right? The goal was that I needed to get better, right? And to get better, I needed to, get some coaching, right? So I got some coaching, and lo and behold, my introverted self was turned off again, because my coach said one thing, right? You got to turn on this camera, right? And you got to talk to the people. because again, you writing, yes, that's great, but you need to talk to the people. So I started doing my lunch and learns, which was my video series that I would do 2 days a week during lunch, just really educating on various topics: blood pressure, diabetes, cholesterol. Same thing we do on a podcast. And the way we got to the podcast is that someone said like, hey, like, you know what? I would love to like listen to your lunch and learns, but I don't have time to sit and watch the video. Can you make an audio version of it? And fast forward, we are 138 episodes in, and here I am, right? So this is why I am where I am today, right? So this is why I have been able to educate on the audio front, on the video front, on the blog front, right? Because I had a mission early, and I realized that if people were going to get healthy, I was going to have to be the one to do it, right? Again, I was, as a physician, we all think we're like the hero story, right? And that was really my hero story, right? I said, you know what? If I don't help you guys do it, no one's gonna do it, right? And again, of course, if is that 100% true? Of course not, right? But like, because I believe it, I have no problem sitting here recording podcasts late at night, recording podcasts early in the morning, doing videos, right? I don't have no problem doing that because I know all I need to do, right, is save one person's father, right? All I need to do is save one person's mother, one person's brother, one person's sister. All I need to do is do that because of a video they watch, because of a podcast they listen to, and then my job is done, right? Because I knew I can only do so much when I'm taking care of people in my office face to face, right? Like I can only talk to so many people per day. But I know when I turn this camera on, right? When I turn this mic on and I record myself doing what I need to do, I knew that was going to take me to the next level, right? So that is why I'm doing what I'm doing, right? And that is why you're listening to this podcast. And that's what you're going to get for season 4, right? Season 4, get ready, right? We got a lot of work to do, right? We got a lot more people to educate. Again, my goal, I want to educate 1 million people this year, right? I want 1 million people to say like, you know what? I learned something from Dr. Barry, right? And if you're ready to do that, right? Like if you're ready to say, yep, I'm ready to learn something from Dr. Barry, even if it's not for me, right? Because I know I have a lot of people, I like to call them my superhuman age, right? Which is usually about 25 to 35 in the health world, where you guys aren't really going to the doctor. That's okay, right? You guys aren't really getting your checkup. You're not doing your vaccination. That's okay. We understand because you're young and healthy. But what typically starts happening, and especially when I say 25 to 35, is that all of a sudden, right, you start having relatives who are getting sicker, right? All of a sudden, your parents are getting older, right? All of a sudden, death starts becoming a true reality for a lot of people. And then we start thinking about like, whoa, like, wow, if my dad died at, 52, right? Like, what do I need to do to make sure I'm as healthy as I can be so when I turn 52, right? That's what typically happens, once you get to 30, 20, after about 33 to 34, that range, right? Once you get past 35, you're really thinking about that. And that's my goal, right? My goal is to be that catch-all person, right? To help kind of guide you in your 25 to 35 range and say, it's like, yeah, health is cool. Dr. Barry makes health cool. I'll listen to what he got to say. I got a mom, I got a dad, I got a grandma, I got a grandpa, I got brothers, I got sisters. I got someone who even though I'm not affected personally by the disease Dr. Barry's talking about, right? I know someone who is, right? And that's where I'm going to just click that share button and send to them. Send them a message like, oh, hey, check out this person right here, right? That's what I want you to do, kind of moving forward, right? Because that's the goal, right? If you don't got the issue, right, that I'm talking about, but you know someone to do, you got to share it, right? You got to let them know. Because again, remember, we're not only when we empower ourselves, right, we get better health. Again, that's the goal. That's the motto. Empower yourself for better health. Now, this episode, right, is going to end now, right? And the reason why I say that is because I'm going to do a part 2 series later this week, right, to kind of talk about what I plan to do and what I plan to offer, right? Like, so now this episode was more of the why, right? Like why Dr. Barry does what he does, right? Why does he read early in the morning and he does these podcasts and he does why he does it, right? That's really the goal of this video or this episode. But the next episode is really going to be talking about, most importantly, like, okay, hey, you know what? Dr. Barry says I need to empower myself for better health. Like, how can I do that? right? So I'm going to be talking about a lot of the services and products that we're going to be kind of offering through Pierre Medical Consulting and Dr. Barry to kind of help you get you to that next level, right? So stay tuned. It's coming again. This is a special week because this is season 4, and I haven't talked to you guys in a while. So we're going to be bringing you 2 episodes this week, depending on when you're listening to, right? Especially if you're one of my listeners who listened to this episode the day it drops out. First of all, I want to say I love you, right? If you're not, that's okay, right? Because regardless of when you hear it, the fact that you hear it makes the world a difference to me, right? So that's the goal. That's the plan today. We are doing 2 episodes this week. You just learned the why, right? And if in case you never knew it, or in case I might have said it in passing, but not really that full totality, now you don't know why, right? Like, you know why Dr. Barry does what he does, right? Because Dr. Barry wants to save your father, right? Dr. Barry wants to save your mother. Dr. Barry wants to save you. And that's most importantly, right? So like always, if you love this episode, you know what to do. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Let me know I did an amazing job, right? Because that's how I know I did, right? Because you tell me to do it. And again, I love you guys for telling me to do it, right? You guys be blessed. Have a great day. I'm going to see you next week for part 2 of the Empower Yourself for Better Health series with yours truly, Dr. Barry.